The 2014 film Exodus: Gods and Kings tells the story of how Moses rescued the Israelites from slavery in Egypt. But how much of the story was true to the original source material, and how much was just Hollywood taking its usual creative license? Over the next few months, I'm going to tell you the story of Moses as it's recorded in the Bible. This is Storytime with Josh, and this is how the story really started. Thousands of years ago, there was a man named Joseph. During a famine, God helped Joseph to give good advice to the king of Egypt to get Egypt through the famine. Because of this, when Joseph's extended family moved to Egypt, the king gave them a good part of the land to settle in. Generations passed, and Joseph's extended family grew and grew. They became known as the Israelites. Some years later, there was a king in Egypt who didn't know about Joseph or the things that he'd done to help Egypt. The king said, "You see those Israelites? There are so many of them, and they're so strong. We must do something about them. Otherwise, when there's a war, they might side with our enemies and overthrow us. Arrest them all. They will be our slaves." So the Egyptians forced the Israelites to do all their hard labor, working the fields, making bricks and mortar, and building their cities for them. The more alarmed the Egyptians were, the more ruthless they became. And the more ruthless they became, the more children it seemed the Israelites had. And the more children the Israelites had, the more alarmed the Egyptians became. The king of Egypt said, "Bring me the Israelite midwives. When you help an Israelite woman give birth, look closely, and if it's a boy, kill him. The girls can live." But the midwives knew how powerful God was, so they ignored the king and let all the babies live. The king sent for the midwives. "Why have you disobeyed me? I told you to kill the baby boys." "Us? Disobey you? Oh, no. This is how it is. You see, the Israelite women are so much more healthy and full of life than Egyptian women that they give birth so quickly. We don't even get there in time." "Everyone listen to my decree. You are to throw all of the baby Israelite boys into the Nile River. The girls can live." Around that time, an Israelite couple had a baby boy, and the woman said, "This is a special baby. I'm going to keep him hidden from the Egyptians." But after a few months, they couldn't keep him secret any longer. So the woman got a basket, and she painted it with pitch to make it waterproof. Then she put her baby in the basket, and she left the basket floating in the reeds by the side of the Nile River. And the woman's daughter, named Miriam, stood nearby, watching to see what would happen. Before long, the Egyptian king's daughter came to the river to swim, and as she and her servants were walking along the riverbank, they saw the basket. "What's that? Go and get it for me." When she opened the basket, there was the baby crying. She felt sorry for him. Just then, little Miriam came up and said, "Excuse me, would you like me to find someone to nurse the baby for you?" Oh yes, do." So Miriam went and got her mother and brought her to the princess. "Take this baby and nurse him for me. I'll pay you for your help." So the woman got to take her own baby home and look after him. When he was a bit older, the princess adopted the boy and named him Moses. If you enjoyed that story, share it with your friends. I've got something different for you next week, then we'll be back the week after with the story of Moses on Storytime with Josh.